to Inkcast, boys.
Oh, mate. Hello, mate.
Come on then, introduce yourself. Who are you?
I'm Milky. MilkyInks.
You don't have to do that if you don't want to.
No, Michael, but it's MilkyInks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always known as Milky. It took me probably like a few months to actually know what your actual name was, to be honest, and that's because I saw your customer account on our system.
Yeah. I think when I was working at my studio with AJ, who owns the studio, I think it was probably about 6 months, there was a dude that come in and was like, I'm booked in with Michael. And he was like, who the fuck's
Who's Michael?
Yeah, like, who the fuck's that?
Mate, I've been to your wedding, I don't even know your full
Yeah,
name.
do you know what I mean?
We were saying it at the hotel earlier, just like, I ain't got a clue who this name is.
Well, so when you and Georgia got married, it was like, do you, MilkyInks, take Georgia?
That's what I thought it was going to be, yeah.
And everyone was like, who the fuck's that?
Who the hell's Michael?
Yeah.
That's what I
Mr.
thought.
and Mrs. Inks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Milky.
Oh, that's a horrible term.
Yeah, it's not.
That's it.
Yeah. God, and who are you, sorry, again?
I'm Ryan. The Instagram's Rucus Tattoos, because it's a clever name of a surname.
A really fun way of saying Ryan Lucas really short.
Do you know the reason is, with my friendship group, there's so many people that are, like the 2 or 3 of them that are Ryan, and there's 2 people that have got Lucas as the first name. So my mate literally just went like that, and that's the only way it's stuck since.
Genius.
Why not?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Real clever.
What are we checking out?
Actually press record on that camera. We have, mate. So.
Nice.
Sorted. See,
Yeah.
we don't mess around here. We do
Are
it
you
properly. Yeah. Like you've literally just come in, sat down,
smooth.
start recording, everything's ready.
Yeah.
It's great.
Smooth, mate.
Yeah, we've done this a few times. We know what we're doing.
Yes.
This is the part where you just nod and agree.
Yeah, no, you've
Yeah. See, perfect. Yeah.
Stellar.
I want to go back to your name. I want to go back to the name thing. I think you've told me in the past before, but where did the name MilkyInks actually come from?
So it was the first studio I worked at. It's just because I'm pale, really, and my hair's blonde. Pretty simple. You know, like, it's such a British thing. Like, you do something once,
And
and
then
it's
it
like,
sticks.
that's your nickname forever.
What did someone say? You look quite pale
You're
and
pretty
milky
pale. Do you know
today.
what I mean, you look like a Milky Bar kid. So, Milky.
Brilliant.
You know what I mean? That's about it. There's not much more
I
to it.
mean, there's always a story to the nickname, so it's nice to know. But
Yeah. But everybody knows me as Milky.
Well, what happens if you go on holiday and you get super tanned up and then you come back and everyone's like,
I did think that. I've got blonde hair and that's kind of like part of it as well.
yeah.
But it's kind of grey at the moment, but I'm kind of going darker with it, so I'm like, am I Milky? am I Milky?
Milky with a
Self-question yourself.
Yeah.
After a tan.
Is that me?
Milky with a shade of grey.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's about it really for my nickname.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have a nickname at school? No one asks you, do they? No one asks you questions.
No one asks me questions. No.
Yeah.
No, someone actually, I can't remember who it was now, but I said to them like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" And they were like, "Yeah, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm okay, I'm all right." Actually, thinking about it, no, I haven't got a nickname. Have I, Luke?
No.
None of these are good nicknames.
Pretty standard, really, isn't it? That guy that talks shit to tattooists every now and again. That's what a nickname.
It's
is.
quite a long nickname, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Needs to be
It's quite a
shortened
long one,
down
yeah.
a little bit, like Rucus.
That's the one. It's 2 names together.
So let's bring this back to a professional sense now, because some people might be listening to this thinking, are they going to talk about tattoos or not? So I'll bring it back to this. How long have you both been tattooing for?
I think I'm in my 8th year now. So 2015. Yeah, about 8 years now.
8 years,
So-
Milky?
Probably 6, 7, about that.
So you've kind of like, would you say like, and I know you're going to have an immature answer to this, but would you say that
Thanks.
you've matured over those years?
Loads.
Like
yeah.
around the same kind of like...
Yeah, I think so. I think having a job where you've got to be so social with people like every day, whether you get on with them or not, it definitely helps throughout the years. But
yeah.
I think if people that know me well probably would say no, but from people that don't as a customer side, then yeah, still no, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
I've probably been the same all the way through. But
Okay.
I think a little bit, yeah, just over like the actual, what you said, like the job side of it, but personality wise, it's still the same shit, innit?
Yeah.
Everyone talks stuff.
Behind closed doors, still the same.
Feral.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I'm going to lie, I'm going to say, yeah, I'm really mature.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
It's just because the cameras and microphones are on, isn't it?
Yeah. My mum might watch it or something, don't know.
She won't.
My mum's never watched any of these.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've done like 12
You
of
said
them
that
now.
in the saddest tone I've ever heard in my life.
Turn the cameras up. No, I don't think she'd be interested in what any of you have to say anyway, to be honest.
No.
It was my missus, to be honest. So
Like,
it's
who,
fine.
who are these feral people sitting in their lovely building talking crap to Dan? Oh.
That's the one. Yeah.
No, I asked you about how long you've been tattooing for, because you've kind of got like, you work near enough like along the same kind of lines of like a young tattooist, like a modernised kind of tattooist, rather than the old school lot that are like been tattooing for 20 years or so like that. Do you think that there's like a massive comparison between those two sorts of people? Because you've kind of got like the modern tattoo, and then you've got like the ones that are very much like they keep themselves to themselves, not move very much on social, kind of still using
Coils only kind of thing.
I mean,
Oh, I'm
that
getting old.
that, and also not really being exposed to all the other new brands and new
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. Do
Yeah.
you see that person quite quick and easy in the industry as a tattooist, or
I think there's like three. I think there's the in between. I think
Yeah.
we're in between.
you're like a hybrid of both?
Yeah, like I see
Yeah.
the younger people doing like all the TikToks and that.
Yeah.
We're like trying to do it, but a bit of shit at it.
Ah,
Do you know what I
I'm
mean?
not trying. It's just too much effort. I think that, I'm in that little said like in between, but I can see why the older generation are doing like the quote unquote the grumpy side of not wanting to put anything on socials or
Yeah.
wanting to not speak to anyone after tattooing because it's such like a social like draining job as well. But the more you try and put effort in on Instagram or like you say TikTok or whatever, just the more you think I just can't be bothered. Like I'd like just to be that word of mouth again.
Yeah.
And keep it like give it back 20 years where that wasn't a key part of the job. I think it would be great, but at the same time, we all make our money being online. So
Is most of your new clients, so not regular people that you've been like, yeah, come back in and carry
Yeah.
out, like new clients, is that majority social? You
Everything.
reckon?
yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Like, do you
Everything.
direct or the studio?
No, to me, everything's just through me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably get a couple from the shop, but at the same time, because they kind of just say to me, how much is this? And I'd say, just message me and I'll sort it out myself. In
Right.
terms of like, just so I know what's going on, because I don't want someone to be a messenger and then something goes wrong and then they feel awkward that a booking hasn't happened or whatever.
Yeah.
So at least if I just know what's happening. So 95% is just all through Instagram.
All through
Yeah.
DMs.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you?
Instagram, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't do email. It's just too much to keep on top
I
of.
started doing
threads.
email, and I was like, yeah, right, I'm going to do everything emails.
Yeah.
And then I found I had some emails, some things here, and Instagram, then I just miss all the emails. It's like, shit, that don't
Yeah,
work. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? So Instagram's just the easiest, quickest.
I suppose it's easier because if you're like, say, if you got like an iPad and an iPhone,
Yeah,
just for
yeah,
example, do all the stuff on there, airdrop it there, send on Insta or something.
Yeah,
and then
and you're always
quick
on
and
your phone
easy.
anyway, do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Not
Is
on
that-
Instagram scrolling and stuff. So.
If either of you two in the future, whether it's in your long-term goal or not, if you had your own studio, is that like a bit of a communications method that you would push all the other artists on, or would you kind of have like the reception kind of person that handles all the stuff? Or
I think in the shop I'm at now, we've got a shop manager that kind of does a bit of everything.
yeah,
But in terms of it's not doing posts for everyone and doing all their own individuals, it's the shop page of just trying to help everyone out. But I think that if I had my own place, I'd probably hire someone to kind of take the weight off people to do that sort of stuff. Because it said the last thing when you've been tattooing all day or whatever, when you go home, the last thing you want to do is then be stuck on your phone when you can't speak
go
to
through
people.
all that.
It's too much.
Yeah,
So I think I'd probably entice them or encourage them, to definitely do their own stuff and try and push it how they want to be seen and like push a personality through.
yeah.
But at the same time, rely on the people around the shop that's going to help you out.
Where obviously you've just mentioned studios, but just to kind of come back and clarify it, what studios are you both currently working at, and whereabouts is that in the UK?
So I've just recently started at a place in Ipswich called Nova with a guy called Jack. It's quite a big shop, to be honest. There's 6. There's a lot of artists. We've got 2 or 3
There's
barbers.
maybe more than 6 artists at the studio.
There's more than just me in a room. So yeah, I've just forget how many.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And then I'm at Inspirations in Felixstowe, like 20 minutes down the road from you.
Yeah.
I think there's 7 artists we've got
Yeah.
now. 1 apprentice is.
You've been there a couple of years now, haven't you?
Been there like 6 years.
6 years.
About 6 years, yeah.
Did you do your apprenticeship there, or?
Well, I sort of did a bit of an apprenticeship somewhere else and then finished it up
Oh,
at this
okay.
one.
So it's like the first bit of apprenticeship.
Yeah, I got a little taster and then
Yeah.
I kind of dipped my feet in properly. Inspirations.
Okay.
I worked for a guy called
What, did you
AJ.
have like a mentor, like one-on-one, or would you just learn throughout the whole studio?
Well, when I first joined Inspirations, there was AJ who owned it, and then you had Tom as well, and Lou was there as a shop manager,
Mm.
but it was kind of just me, Tom and AJ, so mainly off those two I kind
Yeah.
of learned, and then Ryan you'd dip in and out, wouldn't you, like
Whenever I'm off,
you'd be
on
like
everyone.
telling me don't do that. I'd be copying Sneaky Mitch and he's like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, I learned that. So
Yeah.
I think everyone does when they start, don't they? They want to draw who they kind of quote unquote
Aspire
idolise.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then naturally their drawings are so close. So I've been burnt by it once. So as long as
Okay.
just try and help people out a little bit.
Yeah.
Iron out those bad habits before they kind of become.
Yeah,
a
because you
habit.
don't really know when you're starting, like what's the tattoo etiquette like.
I suppose. I
Do you know
mean,
what I mean?
like the amount
Yeah.
of people I've asked that question to, they've all got a different answer, but generally it's always kind of like the same
Yeah,
ethical.
There's like unwritten rules, but no one tells you too much about them at the
Yeah,
start. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? There's no one gives you like a sheet at the very start of your first day of apprenticeship going, do this, you can't do this.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's quite good to fall on your own sword with it at some points because
Yeah.
it does help you to learn.
Mm.
But at the same time, if you can help others out that aren't going to deal with that shit that you've been given, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you two sort of like, how obviously like you're quite relatively location-wise close to each other. When did you actually first meet each other? Because you're quite good friends and that. And obviously
Yeah.
you've done guest spots at studios and that. Like when did
Yeah.
you actually first know each other?
I think it was probably through people I knew at Inspirations when I used to go see AJ and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think just naturally going in to see him, then I'd go see my mate Nick who works there that you were in the room with.
Yeah.
Is that Nick Valentine, right?
Yeah. The little short belland, that one.
Little hobbit dude.
Yeah, he's a
Hobbit dude.
Yeah.
I thought
But-
he was coming to here. I thought he was going to be coming along with you.
Well, so did we.
Yeah.
And he just didn't bother wanting to come in the very end. So whether it was just him being lazy with no
Oh.
hotel, no travel, we
He's got
covered it
some
all.
questions, don't he?
I think he has, yeah.
Nick, that's shocking. I'm literally talking to you now, Nick. That is shocking.
Yes, Nick.
That camera literally does not see you at all.
Does this one? Yes,
That
Nick.
one.
I actually think you just your forehead.
just
mate.
that little
Yeah.
bit. Of,
Oh, great. This one.
Yeah, what was I saying? Known him. Yeah,
Nick's a Belland.
through them, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nick's a Belland.
yeah.
Through them pretty much. So just hanging out there and then naturally just, spending my time
Yeah.
there when I'm not. So I've been tattooed by AJ once and then just said whenever I have a day off, I kind of get bored not being around tattooing. So if I have like 2 or 3 days off, I get proper cabin fever. So whenever I was off, I go say hello and then, naturally just bully them and then...
Ryan comes and sort of sits about while we're working, sort of telling us
Pointed
facts
out,
and
going, shouldn't do that.
what are you doing here and would you rather do this? And
You got him,
yeah.
Brian's up your day.
Yeah.
I suppose when he walks in, it's a bit like, oh, fucking hell. Here we go again. But then after the day, you're like, hey, he's alright.
Yeah. Something like
Mainly the first half, not the other bit.
Have you ever done a collab with each other?
We were just talking about this on the way up,
Oh,
to be honest, in the car, because we're both doing a couple of shows we've done together and we're both in London, so we thought it would probably be quite a good idea. But I think you're booked for it now, aren't you?
I think so, yeah.
I've got the Sunday, so maybe, you never know, maybe the
Yeah.
person on Sunday's open to it, but
right.
I think we definitely will. Or
Yeah,
So this is Big London in August, right?
Yeah. But I think then also because the shops are so close that it wouldn't be a problem one of us jumping up to the other one and
Yeah,
doing
we
a
could
couple
do
of
that.
bits.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Cool. What, so like colour and black and grey?
Yeah,
Or-
because we tend to both do sort of like characters and
Yeah,
A lot of Disney and stuff.
yeah,
innit?
stuff like
So
that. So it does kind of lend itself quite well.
we'll figure
I
it
think.
out.
Did you both sort of start wanting to go into that kind of like, that
I
kind
did.
of,
Yeah.
you know?
I did. I think when I first started, the guy who sort of really taught me, he said, what do you want to do? What's your route? And everything I do is quite like cartoony and like graffiti based. So
Yeah.
I just naturally said like the new school stuff and the people I looked at, I was just drawing the same style of what they were doing.
Right.
And then it just developed from there. So
Oh, okay.
that's always kind of been my main thing. There are days where it's quite nice to kind of dip in and out and try other things, but I will always go back to doing just bold cartoons.
Yeah. Same for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just super poor at the time. I was living on a foot and that, and I was like, I'll tattoo anything. But now, yeah,
Please,
definitely.
anything.
I'm well, like, kind of nerdy, so I love my Marvel, my Disney, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I kind of lend sort of.
I remember
My
when
knowledge
you
there.
worked opposite us. You both did actually at Freeze.
Yeah,
God, when was that now?
Is that when we had our little
Yeah, that was
No,
where there was like a row of like.
one of us?
we had Johnny in that.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
Ronnie as well.
What was your first convention?
That wasn't my first one, was it? No
Maybe
way.
Not then.
No, surely not.
I think it might have been like
It
2019.
was close.
I
Just
think.
before COVID, man.
Was
Something
that-
like I think
yeah.
so.
It's going to sound mental. Was that the banner when I married Prince Harry?
I think so.
Yeah. I only remember conventions by what banners I've done.
No, hang on.
It's
So
so weird.
even more of a memory. Wasn't
You
that
got
when
tagged
you
then?
and Monty tattooed me, or was that the year after?
No, that was the one.
I don't fucking know. There's
God,
too many
it's all
years.
kind of
in that.
rolled
would've
into.
been
It was, yeah.
There was
was.
that one because I was there next to you, And then you were tattooing Dan. You were definitely tattooing Dan.
I know I've tattooed down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I've done that. But
But I've only been to that one.
oh, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, I had that stupid banner, didn't I? So
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
It was a stupid banner. It was a lovely banner, right?
Wow.
It was beautiful.
me in a wedding dress, marrying Prince Harry in a cart.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how you can top Mr. Wolverine.
It's good, wasn't it? It was good.
That was so good.
I
What
think
have you got lined up for Big London?
I don't know because I've only just paid for that one. So
Actually,
I think
another question: where do the old banners even go? Do you just put them dotted up in your
Fuck.
house like a massive hallway?
Banner
Everyone-
graveyard.
The banner
Up in the
graveyard.
loft.
they just all put like
Yeah.
old flagpoles. No, I haven't. I might do another one. I don't actually know where they are.
Should you do one of the three of us? Me, you, and Age.
Yeah, it's fine. I
But
did
you got to
one-
have like your faces on like 3
Yeah,
characters.
What could it be?
if we get fourth, we can do like Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You could do.
See, I remember doing one with Gav, who I used to work with when I was an apprentice, and we did. I don't know if it was a music video, but it was. Was it Kim and Kanye on a motorbike?
Yeah.
Where Kanye was straddling him, facing him. So I
I
photoshopped
don't
it to
know,
me.
to be fair.
I saw the picture and found it funny, so I just photoshopped me and Gav's faces on it instead. So I was just holding him from the front. Just, I think that way it just stands out more, doesn't it?
Same again with the three of us.
Yeah, we can do that. Or
Yeah.
just the scene out Ghost.
Yeah.
Clay pottery thing. There's loads.
AJ can be.
I reckon what we should do then is do a little poll on social.
Yeah.
What should be the banner?
Okay, I'll do it. There's no shame. I'll do it. It's fine.
That's fine. We can do it. We'll sponsor it.
There you go. Nice.
Can we be
Put the
naked
logo
in
on
it?
there and that.
Naked in it.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to see that.
I mean, it's a family show, isn't it? I don't know whether you could get away with that.
We're all close.
No, but circling back to what I was going to originally
yeah, sorry,
say,
yeah.
I remember when we was on about the tattooing like the Disney characters.
Hmm.
That was the first time because you tattooed Georgia on
Yeah.
Saturday, I think. Was it? I'm not good with the character names, but it was from Frozen.
Yeah. What was it? It was Elsa and
Olaf.
Olaf.
Yeah. That was the first time I've ever like physically seen like the tattoo of like a black and grey Disney,
Mm-hmm.
which is always interesting. Like Owen Paul's is another one. He does some really nice black and grey Disney work, but it's very rare to see
Yeah. I think if I could do like Disney every day, I think that'd be sick.
in
Like,
black and grey.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, but people either want it just like small, not like big,
Mm,
kind of Disney like that. Like I've done Georgia's whole arm now, and she's got like
yeah.
Tangled and whatever Moana on there and stuff.
Yeah.
It's sick. Like,
Do you get a lot of people that contact you and say, "I love your work. Can you do this in colour?" Or do everyone sort of naturally just go black and grey?
yeah,
or
mainly
what?
black and grey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would like to do more colour, and you're like, I don't want to do colour. No.
There's days where you kind of, with any job, I guess, you kind of think, oh, maybe there's a different avenue to play about with.
Yeah.
But whenever I've done black and grey, I've really enjoyed it.
Mm.
So I've sometimes dabbled into like doing the Disney stuff, like I said, Milky and Owen's done and things where it's fun, but then the second you put more colour in, again, the next person, you're like, right, this is what I do.
Yeah.
But like you said, sometimes it's nice just to have a little mix about, isn't it?
Have you
Yeah.
got like a favourite kind of colour of palette? Colour palette. Like, do you prefer like every single colour of the rainbow, or if someone said I want to use 3 particular colours, like, do you have any kind of preferences?
I think
or-
there's colours that I really, really like to use. I'll make sure goes in everything,
Yeah.
but it won't be like a palette that I only would touch. So for example, I see there's some artists that will use strictly just 5 colours and that's all they do.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
Where I use pretty much everything, but I'll make sure like I use a highlight colour of a yellow or that like bold like turquoise teal,
Mm.
like that. I think it's called Salty Tears from Electrum or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
do
yeah.
like
The
Yeah.
one we've spoken about before.
Mm.
If I'll try and put that in as like a highlight contrast thing all the time, but in terms of like 3 or 4 colours, I think it's just I'll grab everything.
Yeah.
I'm one of them blokes that will put out like 6 reds and use 1
Mm.
because I'm always like, well, I'll probably use that, and I never do. So I just waste so much because I'm like, yep, this rose needs 7 reds, 3 oranges, for example,
Yeah.
and I use like 2.
I suppose like if you looked at both your setups, like do you use like a 4 stage for your black and grey, or do you dilute them yourself, or?
I'm well OCD about it.
Oh,
So I
okay.
put out like 2 rows of caps, and I've got like my solid black, which I use.
Yeah.
Dynamic, and then I've got the Empire Inks kind of like wash set, and then I've
Yeah.
got the David Vega portraits. I kind of lay those out in front.
So it's like a set method every single time. You know that you're going to
Yeah.
use this for foreground, background.
Yeah, like I think it was Gareth was last on the podcast.
But
What's
if you're on discussing Empire and the
Yeah.
Gavin.
Gavin, sorry.
Yeah.
He was saying that he kind of goes back in and puts like whitewash through it.
Yeah.
I kind of use that with the David Vega portraits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
kinda
What
go
are the
back in.
light?
Yeah, like
Light
smooth
kind
it.
of- yeah.
Yeah. kind of.
Is that taken like a good couple of years for you to sort of like say that's how I do it from now on? Or?
Yeah, and I think I want to try that, the whitewash one, because I haven't really tried that. But I think the portrait one's really good. I don't even know what the difference is. I think maybe it has a drop of white in it.
Yeah, we've had this conversation with Empire, and off the top of my head, as shocking as it is, I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, I like that. If I use that for portraits and stuff, like I
Yeah.
go in at the end with a 27 and kind of just smooth it all out. Yeah.
Do you use the white from Empire as well, or dynamic or something?
Either Empire or I use House White from
It's world famous.
World Famous.
Yeah. Okay. You pretty much. Oh, you're all Electrum anyway, you aren't you? A question actually, in regards to colour and stuff. You mentioned about certain shades of like red, for example, or something. Do you use that blending white at all to kind of like soften down some colours, or do you have the colour exactly as it comes out? For
colour, it will be exactly how it is.
Yeah.
I think I've tried maybe once where I'm doing like a really, really bold, like lemon yellow, for example. I think Fusion have one that's kind of similar.
Yeah.
And I'll dip like sometimes that into the red or the whatever colour I'm using. That will help.
Yeah.
But I haven't really fully tried it. But I think it's just whenever I'm doing Disney or I'm doing like cartoons, I just know how I work. So I think if it's something that's like a standalone that I won't ever add to, I know 9 times out of 10 everyone's like, I'm never going to add to it. They do.
Yeah.
But if I definitely know they're not, I might just give that a go there and see how it is there. Because sometimes, like you said, it should be there for a reason. But I've just never really given it a full time of day.
Yeah.
But
do you ever have like a bit of difficulty picking the exact right colour for a particular Disney character? Because I mean, like a Bart Simpson yellow, for example.
Yeah.
Like you sometimes need to know how it heals before you've.
Yeah, I mean, when I used to do fully like saturated like one colour, sort of one tone sort of yellow, for example, I would try and use like a colour picker, and on Procreate I try to make a palette based off the inks I use, so that way I know exactly which one I'm using. But now, because I put like 4 tones of yellow into him, or orange or a bit of brown, I don't use a specific tone, so I'll make sure, like, say the back of his head has got a shadow or something, that'll be really dark.
Yeah.
The other side of his face will be super bold. So I just use about 4 different yellows and just blend it all together.
Big Luke, actually, you know Big Luke Tattoo?
Yeah.
He's recently just got on with the Electrum stuff as well, and he was telling us that if he was to do like a SpongeBob or you know, like just for example on the yellow subject, like he has like a method of a dark yellow, then something in between, then the 4 one because of the shadowy stuff. As a non-tattooer, you don't realise the amount of focus and thought that has to go into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I think you appreciate it more when it's explained to you, because on the surface of like, when you just look at a picture, you go, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's kind of like a quick.
Yeah.
But you don't realise how much thought goes into those shades.
I think I spent a long time when I was an apprentice, I got tattooed by Andy Walker. And
he's got some great work,
it's annoying.
Yeah.
But I think there were times where when I got tattooed from him, he was doing it, so I asked him the same thing. And I've always now, if I'm doing a cartoon or something, rather than just feeling like a printer or like a photocopier, I thought if I can put my own spin on it by putting more shades and blends in to give it just a bit more to it than just one yellow, one blue, whatever it could be.
And you go quite wild with the colours as well, don't you? Like highlights and like
glowy.
Like
I don't really have a plan. It's just I'll draw the thing up the next morning, the day, and then just look at a load of colours on the wall we've got and just go, yeah, quite like, let's try that one today. Or if there's like a random pink that I haven't touched, I'm like, that'd be cool. And just see if I can get it in there somewhere. Is
there ever the occasion where there's a client and you've kind of got like, oh, okay, I've got like a thought in my head, I'm going to do this, and then suddenly you're pouring like this colour out, and then is there ever the occasion where the client goes, oh, what are you using that colour for?
I think a couple of times when, like you said, if you're doing a Bart Simpson and I get like a bright turquoise out, they're like, where's that going? So, but then once I say to them I'm doing like a highlight colour or I'm doing like X, Y and Z or something in the eyes, then 9 times out of 10 they're like, just do what you want.
Oh, okay.
So I'm quite fortunate that people that get tattooed by me know what I kind of do, so they come to me for seeing the work rather than just, I want a cartoon but I only want it to be how it is.
Yeah, you do a lot of like twists.
Yeah, just try and make it a bit more fun. I think like we've done before, is I've always said if it can stand out say I did a Bart Simpson, say it can stand out between 100, there might be 99 of them that are better, but as long as people know Ryan's done that one, then that's what I want to do.
Okay.
That's just have my own little stamp on it, pretty much.
Yeah. Does this kind of conversation of colour and stuff ever kind of make you think, I want to try and do a bit more that instead of black and grey, or are you sort of happy doing?
Do you know what? Like, I always think that, and then I'll have something colouring, and I'm like, oh,
shit.
I get to the end and I think, okay, no, that took forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, getting everything saturated,
Yeah.
and then you wipe it in. But it is, like, when you look at the piece at the end, you're like, oh, that was pretty fun. And you're always like, you should do more colour.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
like,
good.
But
But same as black and grey.
What about, like, say if there's like a friend of yours, or there's like a regular client that you've done all sorts of black and grey on, and they say, I really want you to do a colour tattoo on me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever just suddenly go, because it's you,
Yeah.
I'll try and do it? Right? If there's like a normal kind of like client that comes in and stuff, you kind of just think,
Yeah, I've got a young lad who comes in, and he was getting a whole load of sort of black and grey stuff with Georgia, like on his other arm, and then what did I do at the bottom? I think I did like a Hanya mask, and he booked it in, and he was like, oh, by the way, I want it in like full colour, and I was like, oh shit. But then the problem is, like, Georgia's got colours and stuff, and so's Nick. I don't have any colours, so I'm like, I'd like to do more, but then you're like, where do you start like buying colours? You can't just buy,
It's a lot.
like, do you buy a set of like, I don't know, 30 inks?
yeah.
And then you're like, I don't have a blue, the right colour for this.
Mm.
But yeah, I do enjoy doing it. But I think just
What was the last colour tattoo you did?
same young lad, and I did. I think it was like a koi fish on his inside bicep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's just a case of me having to steal everyone's inks in the studio.
You just like,
Yeah, what have you got there? Have you got?
and just take that.
Tom upstairs has got like a really nice sort of Tom and Nate up there. Got a really nice collection. He's got like every shade of orange, every shade of blue.
Oh, please tell me it's in like perfect.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I
He's got
appreciate
these
that
like
so
little floating
much.
shelves.
The first time we ever did, the first time we ever had the Electrum Ink Ranger show, we had like you've seen the tables, like it's all that green banner, and then you've got all the inks like in an order. I think I was setting up like I was putting all the cartridges on the shelf, and Luke was putting the Electrum on the table, and I saw a blank table, turned around, cartridges, get all that done, and then I turned back around, and it was like yellows, oranges, reds, pinks, purples, blues, all in like a perfect hue order. I was like, oh my
Yeah, I
god,
love that though.
looks
Cool,
perfect.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolute porn.
It's satisfying as fuck to see that when
Yeah.
it's done properly. And then as soon as someone comes over to the stand and goes, oh, what are all these then? They take a couple out and put them in different places. I'm like,
Just backhand them. Just straight.
You just look at my shelf, and it's just like
Yeah.
just
The
black.
thing is, I've got
Just different blacks coming.
I've got proper OCD with it. So like, I've actually, because of the amount of Electrum I've got now, Jack's had to build another shelf just for my ink, because I think he does it where the shop has a massive bulk amount and they all just share them and do what they want.
Yeah,
as long as
yeah.
they're in some form of order.
yeah.
Where mine are the same. They're like I've got my own little section. I'm such a child. And then the set, all the reds are in one, all the yellows, but they're all in like a colour order. And I get to the point where now I get annoyed if the label's the wrong way. So it's like, I don't shout at anyone, but I know it's only me because only I touch them. So I might just put an ink back later and be like, fuck.
Well, which way do you have them though? Do you have it so the Electrum logo's facing outwards, or is it
I'm
the
not
name?
trying to sell it. I just need the name. Yeah,
Just the name.
Just so I know
Okay.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Because there's some yellows or some colours I'll use, and then some that I won't. But it's just it just looks nicer when they're all together.
Yeah.
But it's only for my eyes because no one else touches them.
I'm like the opposite. I'm like a
You
mess.
just throw
Do
it
you
up
know
on the
what I
shelf.
mean? Yeah.
Well, so all your round liners and shaders are just all in a big drawer somewhere as
Yeah,
well?
you know, they're fucked. Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah.
It's just in a cupboard.
That looks like a lineup. We use that today.
I cleaned my top drawer on Saturday, and Nick was like, fucking hell, look how many machines you've got in there. I had like 10 different machines. Like an old
Like
coil
10
machine in there.
machines?
Yeah, about 10 in there.
And how many do you use on a regular?
Like 1 or 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got that. I need to start selling some.
I'm messy. Well messy.
What machines are you both on at the moment?
I use coils for lining.
Mm.
So I've just got I don't know how I found it because I find it's so rare to get now, but I've got one of those Dan Self-Made Hudson liners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really, really good. AK at our place has got one. She does
Yeah.
all like her black trad. And I stole it off her to use once, and I tried
And then
not to
that
give it
was
back. Yeah. So I use that. I'm probably going to absolutely butcher the name, but is it Mea Culpa irons? Mea Cool irons? Another quote. They're really good. And then I use the Cheyenne pen for just all the colouring and
Solnova.
black and grey and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So I've got FK Flux, is it?
Mm.
Yeah, I've got a
we
Flux.
know our shit.
What's that?
We know our stuff.
Yeah, and
But
then,
don't think about names.
do you know what I'm loving? Like, the mast, like the Dragon Hawk mast.
Oh, really?
Like, they're pretty cheap,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
solid, do you know what I mean? Like,
What do you use? One for line, one for shading, or does it just depend
Just-
on which one's got battery?
I think the Flux has got a 4mm stroke, and one's got 3.5.
Okay. Yeah.
But Just whatever I'm feeling, really. And sometimes, like, I'll be using one on someone, I'm like, it's not hitting right. So I'll have the other one, like, charged up, and then I'll
Swap
be
it
like,
out.
yeah, I'll kind of see what sort of suits it
But
best.
do you have to? Do you sort of like have like a bit of a? Sometimes you think, oh, okay, the skin's not like, well, the needle's not taken or the machine's not taken to this particular client, and then you have to change it up. Does that happen quite a lot, or?
Yeah, I find, like, whenever I'm doing a tattoo, I'm kind of like the first half an hour, I'm kind of like adjusting the stroke a little bit, like the voltage, what cartridges I'm using.
Yeah.
Sort of, probably for sort of 20 minutes, I'm sort of adjusting, like, especially with line and stuff. You kind of hit that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
What sort of voltages do you? Because obviously you're packing in quite like deep, bold lines for a lot of your work and solid, punchy colour and stuff, and then you've got a lot of shading and stuff. Like, how often do you sort of change your voltages per the client?
I don't. I think because the Cheyenne hasn't got a screen on it, couldn't tell you.
Oh, it's that.
Couldn't tell you. It's just a
Still
noise.
one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think that I quite like having it quite soft and quite like low down in voltage, because that way I can kind of get the blends better. But if I need to get like a big chunk of orange or blue, whatever it could be in, then I'll just whack it up to the, like, near enough the highest.
Yeah.
But just go slowly with it and just take the time. But
And then just near enough kill your client off.
yeah, they're fine. They'll be fine. But yeah, it's when they haven't got a screen, I just don't really know anymore. So I know you guys use them a lot, but I think when I do the cartoony stuff and the new school sort of things, it's just whatever feels right on that person.
Yeah.
So, but then with coils, it's just coils, aren't they? So I just slap a line
Slaps, doesn't it?
in. Yeah, it's easy. So much better.
Where do you two stand on like glides and process butters and all this kind of stuff? Like, are you very much, because obviously we're talking about inks, machines, needles. What about all the other stuff? Do you sort of have like a set routine on that every single time?
I just love all the foams and butters. Like, the other guys take the piss out of me because, like, Nick will, like, you'll just like spit on it. Do you know what I mean? Shade, spit and shade. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm like, I've got this bubblegum soap and this like nice little foam and
Sandpaper.
everything. I've got everything. Right.
So anytime there's a new scent out, you're just like,
I just love it. Like, my shelf's got all my little foams on it.
I've got a lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think luckily I'm with Butterlux, so the stuff they do is great. So I ordered quite a lot from them, and then I found that people I'm with at the shop now, they're starting to use them a bit more.
Yeah.
Mm.
AK was very much I'm an old school trad tattooer, this is what I do, where she started to use them, and obviously they smell so good. You can see she's like, I wonder if they taste good. So she wants to eat them really, but
So there's always a little bit of the interest there, like,
oh, we're all weird. Yeah, you want to. If no one's around, you're gonna stick your tongue in it.
oh no.
Yeah, half of it's gone.
No, it doesn't taste very good.
No,
Feels great.
it's awful. But yeah, I use them all the time. Butterluck stuff's great.
Yeah.
the foam's
Just a
good to
disclaimer: they're not edible. They're not for eating. They're not for spreading on your toast. I have to say that.
clean. Toast.
You never know. We've seen some people try it.
So I mean, all right, that's weird. But yeah, no, they're great. Like, the foams are cool. Butterluck stuff's great anyway. So
Yeah.
I think they do is it the whip bar they do as well? The whip stuff.
Whipped butter, balm,
Yeah.
foam.
The balms I normally use more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer like the thicker.
Yeah, the butter's good for. I just wrap them up in that. I find it's a little bit softer.
I find like a balm, even as a client for aftercare, a balm spreads a little bit better than butter.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, temperature-wise, it's a little bit easier to control because with the butter, sometimes it can get a little bit kind of rocky, like a bit of a texture to it. Most of the time, it's fine, but only occasionally it does have a little bit of that to it. But you know, I suppose you need to try them all out and see which one you.
Probably there's so much stuff now, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
loads.
It's,
Do you, as tattooists, then, do you find that that's a little bit of an annoying problem, but a good problem when there's always this new stuff coming out?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Ordering new little butters and that.
Yeah.
the butters are cool. I feel like with equipment in general, like if there's someone banging on about some machine that's great, like to me, I just use what I use. Like I know what I know.
Yeah.
So if I can adapt that little bit to like different cartridges, maybe I'll give it a go. I might hate them, might love them. But with the balms, it's just more of I know what they're going to do. I said Butterlucks have 4, 5, 6 different. Are they called flavours or scents?
They've got loads.
We always end up saying flavours, don't we?
I do
We
that,
always
and then that
just
makes me want to eat them.
Yeah,
So-
it's not a flavour.
I'm sure it's a flavour on the tin though.
I think it says flavours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if there's one that you think the smells for you in it, like at the end of the day, you're rubbing that in some mum,
Yeah.
like, you get the waft.
I mean, Lewis from Butterlucks is a sound guy. We've known him for many years now, and I think when he had like another couple of samples out, he gave us like a few little test pots and like a little number on each one and said like what flavours what. And it's really exciting because when we get this new stuff before any of you guys see it, it's kind of interesting for what our opinions are on stuff before it goes out because everyone's got a different like. this one's the best, and then someone will go, that's the worst one, and it's like, that's
Maybe they
just
should,
proves how
yeah.
different it can be.
You remember when, this might be wrong, did Walker's Crisps, I'm going off topic a little bit, did they ever do like the mystery
Yeah.
flavour thing?
Yeah.
Maybe like someone should do that, just a mystery scent. You get it in the box. Never know, do you?
It's a great idea.
No, it's not.
It's like the jelly beans, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. You
No,
know, you know what you get?
we've tempted that idea at some
See?
point
Fucking-
somewhere, didn't we?
There we are.
Yeah.
Bang it.
But I don't think you'll have like Butterluck's English breakfast flavour. I can't.
No, I don't mean
imagine
like Marmites and Crumpet. I just meant like if you could still have pork scratchings on arm. But if you could do like
fucking
the
hell.
nicer scents to them, and then it's just got like a little question mark on it, and I don't know, they could run like some little, or anyone could run like
Is
a little
there a
competition.
scent like, okay, so you know there's all the typical fruits and bubblegum and all that kind of stuff.
God.
Is there a scent that you reckon would absolutely kill?
See, I always thought the scent that Lilt has, the drink, Lilt.
It's like tropical. Though,
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
then Nick Hims has done that, and he with
like
his
pineapple.
trainers, so that pissed me off. I thought I was onto a winner there. There's probably loads, like the smell of bacon in the morning's good,
Oh,
isn't it?
I was thinking
Yeah.
bacon. That's why I was asking. I was just like, am I the only weird one here?
No, but
rubbing
we've
that
thought
into
this
the
before.
blood and stuff.
Yeah, but like, you know, when the people on that program, The Apprentice, they do stupid things of like making
Yeah.
a candle scent, bacon smell. It's always going to be, well, maybe not everyone, but
Yeah.
it's going to be good for a lot of people. Like, there's
A
loads
lot of
scents.
people disregarding like obviously vegetarians and vegans.
Yeah, it's not
like,
very vegan, right?
I reckon bacon is actually
We
like
could do a non.
what?
I'm
Non,
going something.
a meat-free bacon smell.
Yeah, I don't know how that is,
I
but
don't know how that's going to work.
For a
but-
tattoo butter.
make it
That
work.
you
for a
can't
tattoo
eat.
butter that you can't eat and you can't put on your
Yeah.
toast.
Yeah, there's loads. Yeah, but there's got to be some. But I think it's just normal sweets and like fruity smells are going to be the easiest, aren't they? But
Yeah, I think they go well with the industry though, don't they? Because
Mhm.
I mean, you know, I was getting tattooed by Josh at the studio at Dark Horse once, and then someone was using like a pink gum or bubble gum
Yeah.
or something, and I heard in the background, that smells amazing, and I'm just like, you get used to it.
yeah, nose blind.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
What am I using at the moment for my soap? It's got clove in it. I can't remember what it is.
Biotat.
No, it's not Biotat. It's I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's just got.
New Yayo one.
Yeah, that might be it.
Oh,
yeah,
that could be it. Yeah.
And it's got loads of clove in it.
That's
and some
strong
people, some people
smell,
like
that
it,
is.
and some people absolutely hate it. I quite like it. But
I don't know really. Like, it's a strong smell, but I think at the same time it does do a little bit of benefit for you anyway. The
Yeah.
clove side of things. So
but you can get a headache because it's so strong. I feel like
Yeah.
by the end of the day. It's just my phones, isn't it? Right.
It's just you and your
I
phones.
love my phones.
is there something in the industry that you think is missing?
I don't think so. Nothing sensible anyway.
Nothing sensible.
I don't think there is. I think it's stupid. It sounds same as any invention. If it hasn't, everything's done now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Because I mean, there's loads of like adaptations. So you can go from like the machines that you look at what it used to be like, and now
Yeah.
wireless, and the batteries are just getting better, and this and that and the other. But is there anything that's like any of you guys in the studio that ever just suddenly think, I wish someone brought this out, or this would make this so much easier, or
Like a floating tray. Like so
A
it can just like
floating
float. Do
tray.
you know what I mean? You can just dip in it.
just get a tray with an arm that comes.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're moving about in that.
No.
I can't think of anything, Dan.
I don't think so. But I mean, you guys sell the stuff all the time. Like, is there anything that you've seen that you've been to conventions, you've done it all yourself? There's surely got to be something that you might look
a
at. and go,
self-assembling convention, so we
Okay.
don't have to do anything. That'd be perfect.
That'd be lovely.
Like we just get out of the van and go, oh right, there we go, sorted.
Nice.
That's what's
Yeah.
missing in the industry for us, I think.
Okay. Just laziness for you. Is that what
It's
you
not
meant?
laziness. We got to be efficient. We've got loads of other stuff to do. We've got
Okay.
people to talk to, and you know.
Teleporting. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Just,
you
just
know,
like
there's
stepping out.
loads, yeah. I always like to ask that question because sometimes you can get like a very random answer, but you know.
I think there'll
Yeah.
probably be a thing on the way home where we'll be tired tomorrow, stop talking about tattooing, and then all of a sudden one of us will just shout something out loud in the car,
Yeah.
and it'll be something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing at the moment.
Okay. Disregard the actual like in the studio. Then outside of the studio, is there anything that you think like communication wise? Like, you know how obviously like 20 years ago,
Yeah.
no one spoke on social and stuff like that for tattooing, and now it's like 95% of that. Do you think that there's something like maybe like an app, or do you think there's something that could make things easier? Because what if Instagram just suddenly died tomorrow? Like what would...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think that there's been a couple of people that have maybe tried to do that, or maybe use like a booking system for stuff. But
Yeah.
I think that way, for me, I like to know what's going in the book.
Yeah, I'm the
So
same.
I don't think if everyone was just randomly booking and I looked at my phone I've had 7 bookings and I
Yeah.
don't know what they are.
Is that a little bit informal though, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I like having that chat before
Yeah.
to kind of get to know someone, because that way you know if you can help them out or do what you've got to do. But I don't think there's anything for like the actual job. I mean, maybe
You've got those like stencil apps now where you could, it
Oh,
like
yeah.
stencils, like if you're doing realism,
Oh,
it kind of
okay.
like you put it through this filter and it stencils it for you. But
Yeah.
again, I kind of like
Doing it yourself.
actually stenciling because it's like part of the process. Like,
Yeah.
say you're stenciling a portrait
Yeah.
or something, when you're stenciling it, you kind of get a feel for like, right, this will be dark here.
Yeah.
I'll smooth this bit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see some of them that are printed, and said for someone that doesn't do realism
Yeah.
much, looking at them being like, how the fuck do they work from that?
Yeah, like
It's
Yeah.
mad.
AJ does it a bit. Like he did something on my leg and he stuck it on and it was just like all purple, like the whole thing. And then he was tattooing and it came out and it looked sick. But I just
God.
thought,
It's stressful. Or even the people that every single, I think Steve Butcher does it, but have you seen his stencils before?
yeah, I have.
They're-
Not of recent, no.
It's absolutely fucked in a
It's
good way. I don't know
chaos.
how it works, but it's just nothing. There's no open gap. It's like every little, you know, when we do like the shades of a face or the contours and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Everything. It just looks mental.
People
And I
like
don't know.
cross hatch them and
I don't know
The
how it
thing
works
is,
with
he
it.
doesn't do small pieces either. It's
No.
like a full,
Mhm.
Yeah.
side. Like,
But even then, like some of them where he's done like, I just can't think on the top of my head, but some like the Kobe Bryants and things like that he's done. And
yeah.
I wouldn't know it's a face until I really have to stare at the eyes because it's so busy and compact.
I'm always
And then-
massive respect for that because
It's
like
insane.
it. Surely after a while, your eyes are going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
like you're staring at this area for such a long time.
I'll be stressed losing the stencil.
Oh,
Like,
God,
wiping.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like Simo used to work with, he's now in America, but he used to do cross hatching on his stencils.
Mm.
But little cross hatchings meant certain things to him. I don't know if it's like how tight the lines are. I mean, one's dark, one's light. I don't know. But he had all these different shapes and things going on. And I was like, how the fuck? What? Just let me do cartoons.
I like it nice and simple.
Just easier, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just give me a Family Guy and I'm fine.
What about your freehand? Do you ever do any of that, or do you sort of like? Because I know when you and Monty did that stencil on me,
Yeah.
Monty just got got like a
Oh,
Sharpie or something,
yeah.
and she just started, and you were just like, okay.
I don't, yeah. I love Molly to bits. She's great. But when she did it, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I haven't got a clue. I knew my bit was fine. I thought I'll let her carry on and do a bit.
Yeah.
But I think when it's like Neotrad or something like that, I can kind of put bits in or little gap fillers. But to see the people who just go, yep, right, sit down, or draw a full forearm on you, or draw a full chest piece, I'm like, animal. I don't know how it happens.
Different breed of
Yeah.
art in it. That.
Yeah, it's just too much stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be proper sweaty.
I suppose you're very much the stencil. really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
unless I'm
Realism stuff.
doing, do you mean like roses or something?
Yeah.
You can draw leaves and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it being, I don't know. I don't like using that time to like spend loads of time drawing. It'd be ideal if there was all the time in the world to kind of like draw everything
Yeah.
on, and
Mm.
but I feel like once I've done the stencil and I've kind of like laid it over an image of an arm or something, the customer's
Just know
arm,
what you're doing.
you know the size of it, you know, right, that's filling that bit. I don't really have the need for that.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing script and stuff, like New York's is
Yeah.
kind of like drawing all these flowy things that like shape the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I suppose it depends on whereabouts on the body that's
Yeah.
going, and if there's anything already around it. And
Like
Mhm.
the geometric stuff as well. Like people who just freehand on perfectly symmetrical stuff.
Oh
And
God.
when they do the grid work first and then it's
Mhm.
all the patterns, like
Yeah.
Ash did it in my old shop in Cosmic, he did all like the dot work and everything. And the amount of times he's got a full back piece in and he either draws it with them within the space of an hour or he draws it on them. And I'm like sitting here with, I said, like a Disney character on, and then just being like, how? I just haven't got a clue. It annoys me because it's amazing. Like I'd happily sit there and watch them all day, but
Yeah.
because I don't need it for what I do.
Mm.
I just think unless I'm doing, I said, like a little rose or a filler or whatever it is, I like knowing what I'm doing.
Mm.
If you know what I mean. So I mean, said things might change. Where I've done cartoons of anyone, like say for example, I know we speak about Bart, but say we did Bart Simpson again, and one of the arms would be better slightly elsewhere. I'll just freehand the arm in or change a leg position or something. But
Yeah.
in terms of like full pieces, I just like to do it at home. It's just easy.
How much work do you do? So say if you've got a client and they've said, I want this, this and this, put your own spin on it. How long until they've given you the idea? Does it change as you go? Because obviously like, you've got all these different kind of like sketches to draw up on your iPad
Yeah.
and I've got this person in tomorrow, I've got to get this done and whatever. Like how often does the design change from the concept?
A lot. 9 times out of 10, I do the basics of what they want
Yeah.
in terms of like a character, do what you fancy. But if, say for example, it was you and you came in for a consult and I spoke to you, yeah, we'll do this, that, this. Say you turned up, it won't be like that because I'm like, I just got carried away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, but most of it's the night before because I used to do it 2-3 weeks before, being like, right, organised, clever, sensible me. But as soon as I look at it the night before, I'm like, right, I want to change loads because I've seen other influences from things.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, right, 10 o'clock at night, I'll draw it till 2, 3 in the morning, whatever it is, then tattoo it the next day because that way I know I was happy with it then. The more you look at things with anything like drawings, art, whatever, you want to change stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's never finished.
No.
Really.
Where that way it's nice to know that if I was happy with it then, I'm always going to be happy with it. But you can nitpick at anything, can't you?
Yeah.
So it's just easier.
Is that? God, sorry. Is that for you? Obviously, the black and grey and the shading. You kind of do you find sometimes you're a little bit fixed within that design? You can't really adapt it too much. Like obviously, you can change your tones and that on the day and stuff. But like, do you kind of feel as if like you kind of stuck with that kind of stencil a little bit? Stuck sounds negative, but you know what I'm trying to...
Yeah, no, in terms of like actually tattooing, I've got a very set formula, but then when it comes to the design, it depends on the customer really, because if someone wants, I don't know, a portrait of someone, it's like you're just doing it as that image.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are happy for you to kind of like put things with it, like something under. I'm always like trying to put like horns and stuff on it, and they're like, why is that on there? I don't want that. But some people do let you kind of like go a bit wild with it.
Change it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think because your style is so unique as well that if they see it, they know what they're getting themselves in for.
Yeah, I'm similar to you. Like they kind of know what they're in for.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're not going to get like the average like Joe off the street going, "I just want a portrait." They kind of see it and go, "I like it. I want something like this."
Yeah.
Because I do black and grey like realism, but it's not really like.
It's more illustrative, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I just like to sort of take a well-known character or image and kind of just put a little twist on it.
Yeah.
I'm not copying it one to one. I don't think. So yeah.
One of my favourite ones that you've done, I used it in a post earlier, is the Grinch.
Oh yeah, that's probably one of my favourite pieces.
Yeah, that was done really well. That was I like that.
Yeah. Well, I think she's booked in again as well. That's one of those where she's kind of like she sort of says what she wants, and she's got some text with it, I think, and she was just like, I want it to say this, but anything else just kind of run free of it. Yeah. That's kind of like, because the film is a bit older, there's so much fur. It was kind of limited in terms of like how many images there were.
Yeah.
A lot of it was very like pixelated.
Oh, okay.
But I just wanted one that had like enough expression in it.
Enough for you to work on.
Yeah.
Put your own spin on it, but also mimic exactly how people recognise it straight away.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the first time I actually ever... technically, the first time we ever met you, I think, properly, because we probably like spoke over Insta and stuff, but the first time I ever met you, I saw you tattooing Johnny Firth's head at Ink and Iron.
Yeah.
Oh, was that
Shit myself.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was like the first time where I saw you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. It must have been. Yeah.
2018 or something.
You're pale anyway. Like
Yeah,
you went like translucent white. You were so nervous to do it.
Well, I remember he was like coming up. I hadn't been tattooing ages and ages, and I had like my little flash out, and he kind of.
You
I
really
saw
loved his stuff anyway, didn't you?
him walking past, and he was kind of having a little look, and I thought, okay, Johnny might book something in. And then I saw him pick it up, and he was sort of like holding it on his head. I thought, oh no, fuck, do you know what I mean? And then he was like,
It's great.
and he was like, can I get this here? How much? And I said how much it was, and I was like, give me like an hour. I wasn't doing anything. I was like, give me an hour so I can go sort of like shit myself. And then stuck it on, and something that probably should take like 20 minutes. It probably took me like an hour and a half done like this, like sweating.
That was the day when I came over, and believe in me, he was fine, nothing went wrong, but I went over and went, oh, and then just walk off, because I knew that he'd make it 10 times worse for himself.
And even AJ, who owns my studio, he kind of leant over before he came over to actually get it done. He was like, oh shit, kind of thing. And I was like, cheers, Edge, thanks mate. It's the worst.
Is that like a bit of a natural thing there?
Yeah.
So when there's someone that you know is like quite a good black and grey artist, and then they come over and they're like, can I get this done by you? And you're just like, yeah mate. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of like, I tried to play it cool, and he knew I was shitting myself anyway. Like,
It was the meme of that guy dripping in sweat, isn't it?
It was
just
that.
looking like dead sweat, like the kid holding a fart. And you just like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
he was sound, to be fair. I was like shaking loads, and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually well scared of doing this. And he was like, no mate, it's fine.
It came out really well though, because
Yeah.
like, you had some nice white highlights in there,
Yeah,
and it was really good, to be fair.
But he had like a lot. He's got a lot going on in his face anyway, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
kind of
a lot
just
going
hidden
on.
in there
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah,
That was cool.
Because I remember when you first, because like I walked over when you were setting up the stencil or something, and then suddenly the stencil, like he was laid down, and I thought, okay, and then suddenly the stencil, you put it on his head, I was like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
This
Well, I
is
didn't
gonna be
expect that
interesting.
I think all I was doing was little walk ups, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It looked great though. Like
Yeah.
I came back progressively and probably pissed you off with the camera, but sometimes
No.
as I kept walking back, it's like, oh, that looks really
It's not
good.
the first face. Is that the first face you've done? Or like head tattoo?
Back then, I've done loads since.
No, yeah, I'm saying, is that the first one? Because always put the stencil on someone's
Nah,
head for the first
nah.
time. It's mental.
No, I've done a couple.
I was going to
That's
say
what I
that'd be
have for it.
pressure, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Someone that you really like aspire to work wise, and it's your first time tattooing someone's forehead.
But it just proves though that like doing that scary thing that you think's really scary at the time is
Yeah.
like, so beneficial. Because look, became friends with Johnny and like got him with you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if I hadn't have done that, if I'd have just been
Yeah,
like,
true.
nah, I'm booked up, mate. Do you know what I mean? None
Yeah,
of that may have come.
that's a good point there, isn't it? Like that's another reason why conventions are like quite
Yeah.
key for sort of like, well, from what we see anyway, they're quite key for sort of like broadening your horizons a bit.
Networking and like meeting people.
Yeah, like all different types of work, different people. It's not even just like artists as well, but like you'll talk to someone and then they turn out to be like, because I was talking to someone because I just saw that they had like I think they had like a Black Sabbath tattoo and
Mhm.
I liked them a lot, so I was like, oh sweet. And then after a while I found out he was from a needle company and stuff.
Oh,
I was
okay,
just
right,
like,
yeah.
oh shit, not nice to meet you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because at a show you can very much go there with no expectation
Mm-hmm.
and come out with so many benefits.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the thing. I think near where we are in the south, like, there's not many shows compared to being like Midlands or North. So
Yeah.
for us, you've got the two London shows, so the Big London and the Great British one,
Yeah.
and then Brighton is the main sort of top three big hitters.
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably like all the, I said like the slightly smaller shows scattered about, but they're like your main three. Where obviously in the Midlands and above, you've got quite a few going on each throughout the year.
Yeah.
So the amount of times that I have customers that are like, oh, I wonder what conventions are like. I've never been. I keep saying you need to go to one. They're great. And they go, where is it? I'm like, London or Brighton. They're like, I can't be bothered. But of the few that have been, they love it. But then it opens up the eyes to them of like the different levels and quality of tattooing.
And what you can get.
Yeah, and also just you might see an artist that you've never seen before that could be 40 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
So
that's
for
true.
everyone it's great. So we get to meet, well, you have the joy of meeting us a lot all the time, but we get to meet the artists that we speak to online and just hang out. And it's just for us, it's you get to that networking stage, but then it's just meeting up with mates. So, but yeah, no, they are fun. Just there's just a lot of them now, isn't there? Throughout the year,
I just need
trying
to
to keep on top.
I think the key is like I need to get better at like talking to other artists when I'm there. Like I'm so focused on like doing my piece, and I'm kind of like shy with that.
Yeah. But I think I was the same.
Yeah.
I've kind of got to stage now where like rather than cramming every second of that physical day tattooing, do one good one, take your time, chill out. And I think I did it with Tea Party. Rather than doing like 2 or 3 a day, just do one good solid one.
I remember you saying, because at one point you came over to our stand and then we just had a little walk around and stuff.
And just hang out.
Yeah.
Because I think as much as we're there to work and everything, like we're paying to be there and have the fun of the convention.
Yeah, of course,
like, if you're stuck in that booth every single time, like you're not seeing the people,
You are basically working like you
Yeah.
would in a studio, but just in a place
Yeah,
where there's
exactly.
100 other people. You may as well just stay in the studio and
Yeah.
save money.
Just try and do one. I'll do one and hang out and make it easier.
On the subject of conventions, how bothered, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but how important or how bothered are like categories and awards for you two personally?
When I first started, I think when it was the first couple of years of tattooing, I was like, that's one of the main reasons for going and just kind of see where your work lies with everyone and stuff like that. Where now, maybe it is going back to the thing that you said about are you maturing as you're tattooing?
Yeah.
Where for me now, I don't really care about them. It's more just as long as that customer's happy with it, we've had a laugh that day. Like the guy did the Scooby-Doo? Yeah, I did the Scooby-Doo on a tea party. We had the football on my iPad all the way through, so we were just pissing about watching that.
You were sweating over that game.
Oh, I've been an Arsenal fan, mate, it's horrible. But yeah, with that, I'd rather see them enjoy it and have a laugh and then go, right, I've had a good experience as well, rather than just me going, right, stay here for 2 hours to go up on a stage and get judged by someone you don't know. Because some of them, they do them in different ways, don't they? Where some will just call out a winner, where some or others will be like, let's eliminate 20, keep top 5.
Yeah.
And what I'd hate for someone to be is really happy with what they've got and think a judge thinks it's shit when it's not.
Yeah,
and then they just go, I've got to leave. So they think, well, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
So once I saw that at a few shows, I was like, it's just not for me now. So I think I've won a few awards, they're great. I've won ones I'm really happy with. Some have been like, yeah, cool. But at the same time, I don't know, I think it's just sort of changed now. I just feel like the older you get with it, they just sit on a shelf now, don't they? They don't really do much.
Yeah.
So
where do you sort of sit on all this? Share the similar opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't actually entered that many competitions really. Like,
is that by choice or just because like you just thought, well?
I have entered some. It's like a bit of both. Like, I think keeping your customer there that late. There was one convention he travelled ages to get there. He was with his missus, and I think his missus was sat there all day, and I thought, I can't ask him to stay for like another 3 hours, and it's already 7 o'clock.
Right, all done, and then he's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Judging starts in 3 hours.
He just wants to
go and get a sandwich or something.
He wants to go home, do you know what I mean? I have entered some, but then, I don't know, I just find, my work doesn't really like fit into a category really. Like, it's black and grey.
Yeah, what would you normally go towards?
It's not realism, it's not, I can put it in portrait.
But there's not many specifically just portrait categories, are
there?
It's just black and grey, small, large.
And then, but if you're doing large black and grey, you've got like Yarson and stuff, you're just like, oh, okay, do you know what I mean?
Sometimes, like, did either of you two go to UKCTA in Birmingham? Like,
no, not this time.
There were some insane artists there.
Yeah.
Like, you'd walk down this one row, and I can't remember exactly who there was, but like, you had like Rich Harris, Gavin was there, Kyle Williams, Nick Ims, and it's like, fuck, look at all the, like,
it's mad.
It sounds like I'm just like saying this to, but honestly, like when you see work done in real time, you go, shit, there's a reason why they've got so many people watching their work.
I think there's times where like I forget I haven't got a filter. So in terms of like, I'll be looking at stuff and say my customer's gone for a cigarette or whatever it is, I'll be looking around and, like I said, I'm lucky that I've guested in Nick Ims' shop before, like a few years ago, but I could see someone of his work or work that's that sort of standard of the names you've said, and I'll literally looking at it, I'll just be like, oh, fuck off. And then they look around like, you're right, I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's really good. It's just annoying how good it is.
I went to Wrexham a few times, and then I'm like looking at who's there, thinking, I'm fairly new, I haven't been for tattooing ages, and I thought, I could do it in small black and grey or something, and then you see like Eggs there, you're like, okay, cool. And I'm fairly friendly with Egg. But if he's there, you kind of know, like, he's just going to clean up. And
if you don't, even now, from the first day of doing a convention to now, if you don't leave in the nicest way possible thinking that, fuck, my work's awful, I need to step it up, then you're not really enjoying that convention. Like, you see all the artists that are around, if you're going, I'm just as good as them, then the amount of times I leave, and like, as stupid it sounds, you could look at your own hands being like, fucking piece of shit. Just, you want to just elevate more.
Yeah, it's good to feel like you're not at a peak.
Yeah,
you're not at a point where you're like happy enough with it.
Because you think every day at the shop you have people on your Instagram being like, oh, that's awesome, that's this, that's that, and the
because
customer's really happy with it.
Yeah, so you're always constantly like.
Well, I say to the guys that are tattooing up not my place, but the place I'm at now that have only been tattooing for like a year or two, I'm like, walk around and feel that sadness. Because that's really good. I see, because if you don't,
it's a reality check though.
Yeah, like we've got a guy Dan who's hasn't been tattooing too long, but he does like normal traditional. It's so good. But he just needs that little bit of a punch at conventions to go, I'll step up. Where with him, he goes to a convention, he's like, right, I'm awful. Let's move on.
Well, it's not even that.
But then he puts in so much work, and we'll do. We come back from a conventional like reinvigorated, inspired, and for that sort of time they're good.
I think I was really early on. I think I'd only just got to Inspirations. I think I had only just started tattooing there, and the boys there were like, oh, do you want to come to Belgium? We're doing this convention. I remember going there, and Carl Williams was there, Egg, and I think there was a bunch of others from the UK as well. I remember just walking around, and I was kind of just not even tattooing that convention.
Yeah.
And at home, I was kind of doing these like little designs. I remember walking around, I saw Egg tattooing, I saw these people, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, there's like years here before you get to a point where you're like solid. Do you know what I mean? I remember watching Egg tattooing, thinking, I'll never do portraits. Thinking, I don't know how he's done that.
It's like that meme of, that Abe Simpson thing where he puts his hat on the peg and spins around.
Yeah.
Convention, it's like, nope, come straight back.
I love it though, because I even come away from there and I think, I'm not tattooed enough either. Like, I see people and I'm like,
you think
I thought I was covered.
Gaps.
Yeah, and I think, nah, I've got no tattoos. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that happens with me sometimes, because I'll see a picture and it's just like on this one particular side is my sleeve. I'm just like, I've fucking got loads of tattoos. And then there's a picture of me when I was just my left side. I'm like, I'm fucking empty.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
We had AK at our place. She's been tattooing for like 12, 14. good amount of time, 12 years.
Yeah.
She's covered face with all little bits everywhere. It looks great. But she left, first time ever doing a convention, she came to tea party, and within like 2 minutes she came over to the table and went, "Why am I naked?" And I was like, "What?" And she went, "I mean, like tattoos, not clothes." And I went, "Good, all right, fine." But she felt like she needed more work done because she's like, there's just so much stuff going on that you can leave with full coverage, but you can go back into the old shop being like, there's so much gaps I need to fill. There's so much more work.
Opinion that could get some divided answers on social if we do this as a clip. Let's do it as a clip, so I've said it.
Okay.
Can you be too tattooed?
I mean, no, I wouldn't say so. Because then the people that you would class as too tattooed, where's the category? Where's the line?
You say like full like face when you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's definitely, if that person's cool with what they want, then you can never be too tattooed in their eyes, can you? I mean, you can probably get everyone's going to think someone else is too much.
But someone's going to think there's not enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as long as they're cool with it and they're happy doing what they want to do,
like H from my studio, his studio.
yeah,
he's like covered, but then I can't imagine him not having that.
Yeah,
like it kind of
but
like,
it's just face is closing in now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like his face.
And he was always like Kenny from South Park. It's just slowly going in.
But he'd always say like, "I haven't got my face tattooed." See, like you can like, yeah.
His nose is still exactly the same thing it was 10 years ago.
But like, I think he'd look well weird if he'd lost his tattoos and that.
I think a lot of people, the second you get like, I said like, I know you've got your sideburn done, but the second you get like multiple things on the face, that's where they think, oh, that's too much.
Right.
But then there's other people that have got a lot of coverage on faces and like heads, necks, whatever. Like, just doesn't bother me.
Do you ever think like, and again, this is not going to be, I'm trying not to offend anyone that has these, but do you think it's odd for someone to just have like a face, like something there or there when they've got nothing? Like,
I think so. I think.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Weird. No, I think it's. I think when someone comes in who's like fresh out 18, do you know what I mean? Goes, "I just want my face done on my neck."
Is
I'm
that
always like,
refusal?
"Are you sure?" Yeah. Or I'll have a speak to them. But 9 times out of 10, I'll probably make them second think about it.
Is there body parts that you just without question won't tattoo personally?
I mean, apart from the obvious.
Ball bag.
Yeah.
Now, someone did ask me, but
yeah, I've had loads of them.
depends how much money, I guess.
I don't know. I think there's places that are simple that I find difficult because like the ribs suck for everyone.
Yeah.
So I think that's a tricky place, even though it's a common place.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say no to it. But I think it's just the obvious of, like, for me, I get it. Some people will do genital tattoos, people do whatever. It's just not my thing.
I'm not saying that is my thing.
Yeah, you sure?
Have you ever tattooed genitalia?
No, I've been asked, but I didn't really want to do it that much because
You just like treble the price and just see if
Yeah.
they said yes.
danger money. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that? That's like
Well, I said to him,
that is,
someone
asked
asked
if they say,
yeah,
"You know
yeah.
what, Ryan? I love your work. Let's go for it. Get a Bart Simpson right here."
It's a lot of work in it. But it's like same thing when I used to work in Colchester, we were near like the army base. So if there was any bets lost or it was anything like that, things like this. So
I think that's fun though.
two blokes, they're each other's initials because they lost a bet.
Yeah.
So I said, well, it's X amount of money, and they were like, well, how come? I went, it's danger money. I said, I don't want to do it personally.
Yeah.
I said, but and they were like, oh, well, I thought it would only be 50, 60 quid. I said, you think I'm going to hold it and make small talk for 50, 60 quid? No.
Yeah.
That's just not my thing.
Danger money, I like that. Yeah, it's good.
That is great. Is that your own personal thing? Is it?
I'm
never
say
heard
yes.
that before.
Yes.
Danger money.
Yeah. But so other artists might do it, like money's money. But to me, I'm just like, I just don't want the awkward small talk. Well, I've got it in my hand.
I'd rather do a portrait than tattoo it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh God.
Okay.
I don't know where to go after that question.
If you were a tattoo artist, would you
tattoo dicks?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know whether it'd be a question about money because it'd just be like I just feel fucking awkward. Like
if you were like,
so how's your day been?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying it's the weird. Like a lot of people don't think of them sections of it.
How? Okay, I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but because we're on the subject, unfortunately, we've had this conversation. You know I'm going to ask it.
Yeah.
If someone said they wanted their dick tattooed,
yeah.
Would they have to have it done when they're in a particular mood, or if they're not in a particular mood?
I'd want them rigid. No.
Say that again. And just
it's got to be like 50% loading, isn't it? It's got to be some form of.
50% loading.
It's got to be something. Yeah, because I mean, There's just certain things, like, I think my brain works in a weird way, so when people ask for what they class as a sensible tattoo,
Yeah.
I'll think of it the different way. I'm like, you sure because of this? So the idea of me making small talk for that sort of money, holding it and trying to keep it however I need it to be, 1, still, 2, at a certain time, nah, I'm alright. Yeah,
Shame.
just to ask what they're doing for dinner. Just doing that.
What are you having for dinner tonight then, mate? Oh, wow, you know.
Lasagna.
What am I doing here?
What, I'm just not holding, that's big. It's just me holding it.
So,
It's not my thing. Nah.
oh man. Inked Dicks. That's the new podcast, Inked Dicks.
Yeah.
First 2 guests right now.
It's fine. I've been
Please
called
call it
worse.
that. I think that'd be good.
I've been called a lot worse, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I
I'm
think we
bothered.
covered dicks.
Yeah, I mean,
and set up and
Yeah, we've covered dicks and eating butter. That's all I'm on about.
Eating butter and tattooing dicks. That's the title of the show, isn't it?
It's my to-do list every day.
Yeah.
Don't switch them up.
no dick.
Yeah, tattooing butter would be hard. The other bit's fine.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, look, it's delicious.
No,
Delicious.
we'll end our fantastic chat on there. So,
Alright, sweet.
Thank you,
Ryan
mate.
Milky, thank you very
No
much
worries,
for
mate. Thank you.
coming.
Cheers.